What if I told you these two women were the face of sex in America?
After seeing this image, something popped in my mind, okay? If you don't know, one girl is that whole hot story of a police officer, this police officer letting her department run a train on her, okay? And the other girl is the girlfriend of the crypto exchange company that went bankrupt, which was partly thanks to her, right? And I want to show that these women are average to below average in looks, right? And they destroyed, right? They destroyed these men, or they got all this attention from men, right? I just wanted to bring that the thought that if it was the flip side, below average man would not get the same kind of would not be in the same kind of position, right? He would not be able to, a 4 of a man would not be able to have sex with, I don't know, was it 6 women, which the police officer woman got to, right? And then got her, and her simp husband is staying with her too, regardless throughout the whole craziness, right? No below average man could get that. And no below average man, right, can get a woman to destroy her company, destroy her life for him. No. This is the thing the difference that we say. Even average women to below average women, right? Whether you get the attention of men and could still destroy men, right? That is the difference, right? Average men are barely making it, right? If they are at all. While average women in this day and age, they're making it, right? They're doing better than average men, right? And they require more, They have higher expectations, higher standards, right? That's the difference that we're showing, right? This is a difference in levels, because average men, average women, they're not the same anymore, right? In standards, in wants, in, lifestyles, in opportunities, it's not the same. And this picture just shows me it, just reaffirms it for me.
This is Clarence Moses. He spent 28 years in prison because a white woman dreamt he raped her. Listen to this shit. You ain't gonna believe it.
Story of how one woman's dream became another man's nightmare. And after nearly 3 decades, that nightmare may finally be over. Clarence Moses L. was released from prison in Denver this week after serving 28 years for a crime he has always maintained he did not commit. In 1989, Moses L., who is African-American, was sentenced to 48 years in prison after a woman said she dreamed he was the man who raped and beat her in the dark. The victim was raped and badly beaten in her apartment. Initially, she named 3 men she'd been drinking with that night as her possible attackers. None of them was Clarence Moses L. Police never investigated the other men because a day and a half later, the victim said she had a dream that Moses L. was the one who raped her. The police threw out a rape kit and any possible evidence like bed sheets and her clothes. In 1995, after years in prison, Moses L. had won a court order mandating the forensic analysis of the evidence, which could have freed him. He managed to raise $1,000 from fellow inmates to pay for the tests. The judge instructed the Denver police to turn over the evidence. The police marked the evidence box, "Do not destroy," and then inexplicably threw it into a dumpster. Clarence Moses L. languished in prison until in 2012 he received a handwritten letter from another Colorado prisoner, L.C. Jackson. He was one of the 3 men initially named as a suspect by the rape victim until she gave Moses L.'s name following her dream. Jackson wrote to Moses L., "I really don't know what to say to you. But let's start by bringing what was done in the dark into the light. I have a lot on my heart. I don't know who's working on this, but have them come up and see me. It's time. I'll be waiting, he wrote. Denver District Attorney Mitch Morrissey sat on Jackson's confession for close to 2 years. Moses L. and his legal team were eventually able to obtain a court hearing to introduce Jackson's confession and other new evidence. Finally, earlier this month, the Colorado judge vacated Moses L.'s convictions, ordering the DA to either retry the case or drop the charges. On Tuesday afternoon, Clarence Moses L. was...
Y'all knew who the 3 guys were that was with her that night. So you threw all the evidence out that was going to prove his innocence. You threw it all out. You destroyed all of it. When he won that court order, they had to give up that DNA for testing. All of a sudden, it's destroyed, missing. So he was fucked.
That's why this video is disgusting, right? But it's a great representation, right, of the power dynamic that I always believe it, right? I strongly believe in 2020, even for years now, maybe 30, 50 years, there's no such thing as a patriarchy, right? Once women got the freedoms and the rights that they fought for, which with the help of men, right? There's no such thing as a patriarchy anymore, right? Because society is not made for men, right? Men don't get the benefit of the doubt, right? Men don't get, the justice system on their side. They don't, right? You hear this report, just a dream. And this innocent man was sentenced to years in prison. And only as the result, right? Even though he got free for all those years spent in prison, he only got less than $2 million from the state. The injustice, right? And nothing happened to her, right? For falsely accusing him, right? That's why I blame the men and the women, right? It's our country, right? It's not made to help men, right? Because men means nothing to the country, right? Top men, right? It's made for the top men, right? Men in power, men that has money, and men that are in power. That's made for them, right? And then women, pretty much all women, right? If you're an average man, average to below average man, you're not worth nothing anywhere in the world, right? You are only worth as good as your labor, and labor is a dime a dozen. So you're practically worth nothing, right? This is the reality that most people ignore, don't realize, and don't care about, right? This is why I make the videos I make, to bring these ideas, this notion, this way of life to life, so people can see it, and stop ignoring the actual struggle of men, right? Because you always hear all these buzzwords, the patriarchy, toxic masculinity, oh, men gets everything, men are this, men are that. So you assume that all those is right and that men are the problem to everything. No, they're not. Top men, right? The men in power, the men that are rich, right? They're the problem, along with the women who take advantage of it. They take advantage that because they're women, they have more rights than average men, right? Because, of course, the top men will always want women, right? So they give women the power. Power to destroy average men, right? You doing this. How many unreported cases or cases that are not reported by the media about falsely accused men? You'd be surprised how many unpublicized cases, because they don't care, right? But they definitely will care about publicizing a case of a man being accused of it, being accused of any kind of slight to a woman. Because I've never heard this story until now, right? And that happens a whole lot. That's why it's absolutely disgusting what men go through, and nobody cares.
I came to the realization today that I have a really problematic view about men, and more specifically men as fathers. Because tell me why I was scrolling through Facebook and I came across this gender reveal party, and I was watching the father for his reaction, and when he found out he was having a boy, I got secondhand embarrassment from how hard he was celebrating over the fact that he's gonna have a boy. Like, I couldn't just let him have his moment of being excited to be a father. Like, I had to scrutinize every little detail. And I was convinced that this man is probably just a sexist who hates women and hates girls, and that's why he wants a boy. But then, like, he can't win, because if he found out he was having a girl and he was celebrating that hard over having a baby girl, I would automatically assume he was a predator. I would be like, got him, lock him up. Like, no, that's it.